All right, all you hardcore wrestling fans, Aaron Royal back here again for IPW Hardcore Wrestling's weekly recap. Now, I know a lot of you thought I wouldn't be here this week after the hellacious beating I took from one Ron Niemi right here last week, and I appreciate all your emails and your cards of sympathy and support. Everyone that visited me at the hospital, I really appreciate it, but I'm a professional, and I'm here to do a job this week. We have two big matches for you tonight, and coming up first is for the vacant IPW Hardcore title, our own Dagon Briggs from Wrongful Death, taking on three separate members from the NWA in a four-way dance, guys from all over the country and around the world. Fans, let's go to that great match right now. All right, here we go, fans. This is a four-way dance for the vacant IPW Hardcore title. Representing the NWA are Chaos, Juggernaut, and David Young, going up against our own IPW from Wrongful Death. He is Dagon Briggs, and this is going to be a hellacious hardcore match, just like the hellacious beating I took last week from the hardcore giant Ron Niemi.
Will you get over there? And I slapped you across the face one time, and yeah, I possess...
Oh, what are you doing?
Hey, man, I was just scratching my head. Settle down.
Ah, calm down, Ron. I didn't do anything this time.
Now, the fact that the hardcore title is even on the line is unfortunate. That Havoc ended up with that horrible neck injury during a training session at the WrestlePlex. But Dagon Briggs...
Oh,
wow.
Beautiful doorbuster slam maneuver by David Young. He is one half of the former five-time NWA World Tag Team Champions. This guy is no slouch in the ring. No one knew when he was the Tag Team Champion that he could go hardcore, but he's had some brutal battles with New Jack, amongst many others, up at NWA Wildside. You fans know how we feel about them, so you're going to see exactly what we do to these guys right here, IPW Hardcore style.
Now, Havoc ended up with that horrible neck injury that put him out of commission, and being the man that he is, he forfeited the IPW Hardcore title, and Dagon Briggs stepped in as a true member and a teammate of Havoc from Wrongful Death, and he said he's coming after the Hardcore title, and he don't care who he's got to go through to get it.
And there you see, Havoc would remember this, the big knife there from Chaos, a multi-time, 4 or 5-time IPW Hardcore champion who now is in the camp of NWA Florida. That's not as big a deal now as it was a couple weeks ago when this match is going on. And there you see him just tearing into Dagon Briggs like a brutal madman, shades of Abdullah the Butcher, who Chaos has defeated in the past. But here you see all four of these guys going at it. Juggernaut throwing chairs in the ring a la Terry Funk from a few years ago, where ECW wasn't allowed back in Florida for 2 to 3 years. This Juggernaut guy, he wrestles up in Canada, he wrestles over in Japan. He's a big monster and should factor in heavily in this match.
There's a lot of storylines at play here. You see Juggernaut from ECCW, the NWA affiliate in Canada, and like you said, David Young from Wildside. And you see the Hardcore Princess at ringside. She was with Havoc in Wrongful Death when he was the Hardcore champion. He ends up with an injured neck, having to forfeit the title, and what does she do? She switches allegiances, jump ship, and here she comes out to Chaos. 1 week later, she's standing at ringside with Chaos. This girl's got no loyalty whatsoever. She wants to be where the titles and the glory is.
Yeah, well, let's see her try to go after any of these other guys if they win this match. I don't think any of them are going to want to have anything to do with her, considering what just happened. So if Chaos doesn't win this title, it looks like she's out of luck.
This match is so sickly violent, and a lot of the shots that we really can't show here on TV because of the censors. You can go to IPW-hardcore.com or ProWrestlingDaily.com, the site hosted by none other than Shannon Rose, and you can see some of the most gruesome shots of all time, such as Juggernaut destroying Chaos with that chair shot.
And there you see Seven out at ringside, the brains behind Wrongful Death. She's out here to support Dagon Briggs. Not that she wouldn't have liked Havoc rather, to keep that title and be in this match. Oh, low blow there with the big knife by Chaos and Juggernaut. And these guys might both be NWA guys, but here's to show there's no loyalty, no friendship here when you're going after titles. And actually, Chaos hasn't shown much of any of those qualities lately anyways.
Juggernaut's head ripped wide open, and he's bleeding profusely and gets smashed in the back by David Young from NWA Wildside. If you listen to Shannon Rose on 10:40 a.m. on Pro Wrestling This Week, you'll hear some of these great stars. Now he's got not only IPW Hardcore Wrestling stars, but unfortunately, he's been getting people from NWA Wildside and all over the country, and you see David Young is now busted open too, as well as Chaos.
Yeah, Ron, there's so much mayhem going on in this match that we can't even describe it all and get our plugs in. wrestling, which, you know, we have to do. But trust me, fans, we're not ignoring it. We're not trying to ignore this brutality. We were there. We realized exactly what's going on. And there you see shades of Ivan Koloff as Dagon Briggs being choked by the chain there by Chaos.
The violence in this match has been taken to a new level. When Juggernaut came down to Canada, he says, you want to see sick? You want to see hardcore? He's been to Japan for IWA. He's went to Korea for a group known as WWA, and he has engaged in some of the most brutal matches in the entire world, and he brought it right here to the Florida WrestlePlex.
And Ron, I'm not sure if you've told anybody yet, but joining us here on commentary this week is your good friend, Marcel, even more so.
And he'll be here for some great commentary. Great to have you, Marcel. Oh, no problem, brother. The pleasure's mine.
What? I didn't hear anything.
You don't understand the wrestling mime and the genius behind the booker that put the wrestling mime in here for commentary.
All right, Ron, let's see what's coming up here.
Oh my God.
Big snap suplex there over 2 chairs, and Dagon Briggs is hurting. He's the only representative of IPW in this match going for the hardcore title. Let's hope he can come back and keep it in the family. 1, 2, no, broken up by David Young very smartly there. This is not an elimination match. It's 1 fall to a finish, so David Young had to know that if Juggernaut got that pin, he'd be out of luck. So I hate to say it, but Dagon Briggs owes a great deal of gratitude right there to David Young.
Dagon Briggs got to be second-guessing himself at this point. Sure, he's got loyalty to wrongful death, and he's definitely loyal to IPW Hardcore Wrestling. This kid is about half the size and half the weight of the rest of the competitors in this match, and he has been taking the brunt of the abuse from every one of them, and he is in there fighting tooth and nail for the IPW Hardcore title.
See, David
I got to
Young,
give this kid credit,
he's
man.
dumped over the outside of the ring there by Dagon Briggs. Richie Rich, the referee, just trying to stay away, told me he didn't want to get blood all over his jersey because he wanted to go out and pick up the ladies at extra innings after this match. And there you see Chaos now being choked by the chain himself. It's actually being draped right across his face, about to tear his nose off. And there you see the wrestling geek, Shannon Rose, getting in as many pictures as he possibly can. And we're back into the center of the ring there. Dagon Briggs in the massive Juggernaut. This Juggernaut is unbelievable. If you'd seen some of the matches he's been involved in, both in Canada and Japan, you wouldn't believe the sickness that this guy is capable of. It reminds me of old matches in Japan with the Sheik and Sabu before Sabu was even big here in America. And the big leg drop with the chair. 1, 2, 3. And there we go, fans. He's kept it in the family. The new IPW Hardcore Champion is Dagon Briggs of Wrongful Death. And 7 is very happy. But here you see Chaos, the turncoat who went NWA Florida. He was in the big cage match the very next night. And there you see him choking out Dagon Briggs. And I'm sure these two guys will meet again in the very near future, Ron.
Watch November 3rd at 8 p.m. at the Florida WrestlePlex. I guarantee you, Chaos isn't through with Dagon Briggs. Both those wrestlers are signed to be here that night. I guarantee you, Dagon Briggs. And there's Von Tankard coming in to the save of Dagon Briggs.
All right, and those two will meet in the main event on November the 3rd at the Florida WrestlePlex. Fans, we'll be right back after this.
Once again, fans, I'm IPW Commissioner Honest Eddie Edwards, and this is the IPW Event Center. IPW returns to the Florida WrestlePlex Saturday night, November the 3rd for Traditionally Violent. Log on to IPW-hardcore.com or contact the WrestlePlex for the very latest in ticket information. Already signed, a hardcore war between Chaos and the insane Von Tankard. Mike Sullivan will battle Billy Fies in an independent super clash. And former ECW World Tag Team Champion and IPW competitor Tony Mamaluke makes his return to IPW as a member of NWA Wildside, but he will have his hands full when he battles IPW's Madman Jet Jaguar. Also on the card, Ron Niemi has signed on the dotted line to face Acropolis in a ladder on a Halliburton match. Then Thanksgiving weekend, IPW returns to the WrestlePlex for a mammoth show, and this just announced, IPW invades the Outpost right across the street from the Ice Palace in December. More info on these shows as it becomes available, and for all the latest news and notes, be sure to visit IPW-hardcore.com.
Dagon Briggs, he keeps the title in the Wrongful Death family, and more importantly, keeps it here in IPW. He is the new IPW Hardcore Champion, pitting the massive Juggernaut in that big four-way match that you saw right...
Hey, Aaron Royal. Dagon
leave me alone.
Briggs. Hey,
leave me alone.
The king of the oversell. Aaron Royal. One slap across the face from the hardcore giants, and you look like a reject from a leper.
Ah!
The hell did you
Come
do?
on, man!
Yourself shaving?
You know how bad that hurts?
You don't think you were overselling just a little bit?
Well, maybe a little.
Obviously. Dagon Briggs, the new IPW hardcore champion, making the hardcore giant Ron Niemi proud. Sure, I'm not in the camp of wrongful death, but IPW, Dagon Briggs, through and through, is going to be a true hardcore champion. He took out 3 NWA members. This guy's going to be a great champ. Now, the Shane brothers and the hardcore giant Ron Niemi, 911 Incorporated. We've been feuding with Quickiemart. Settle down, Eric. I'm not going to destroy you, no matter how much I would like to. I would love to slap you across the face again. This guy is so jumpy. Sitting next to somebody the size of the hardcore giant and the Shane brothers in the background, I'd be jumpy too. Now, Quickiemart and their new partner, Acropolis, formerly known as Mike Wilson, you stuck your noses in the business of the hardcore giant. You got in the back pocket of the commissioner, honest, and I use the term very loosely, honest Eddie Edwards. You paid him off to get us in a 6-man. What went down here at the WrestlePlex made me sick to my stomach and embarrassed for being reeled in like a fish.
Fans,
Quickiemart,
Ron, I hate to cut you off, but we're going to have that match just a minute. All right, fans, producers are telling me we have to take a commercial break. So fans, we'll be right back in just a minute with that big 6-man match. We're back here right now for this big 6-man event. Ron, tell me what was going on right here.
That's a problem. It wasn't signed to be a 6-man event. It was signed, from what I was told by the so-called honest Eddie Edwards, the commissioner of IPW. Right there, I'm signing the contract, what was supposed to be the last title shot ever for Quickiemart against the Shane brothers. And much to my dismay, I find out that I've been bamboozled into a 6-man tag match with the debuting Acropolis and Quickiemart against the Shane brothers and myself. What the hell's going on?
Well, Ron Niemi, it looks like you didn't read the fine print. You were a little cocky as usual. You thought your Shane brothers were going to run roughshod, get their 800th win in a row or whatever it is against Quickiemart, but that's not what happened. Mike Wilson, now known as Acropolis, wanted to get his hands on you, and through the commissioner, Eddie Edwards, he found a legal way to do it.
Eddie Edwards used to be a member of 911 Incorporated, where he got the moniker Honest Eddie Edwards, where he truly was honest. So he comes in, pulls a fast one, with the help of the Mud Baby Star Stevens, I might add. They thought they got one over on the hardcore giant Ron Niemi and the Shane brothers. You know nobody was Ron Niemi.
You see great chain wrestling there by Thelma Shane as he takes down one member of Quickiemart there. I believe that's Agent Steel.
You idiots.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
Thelma. First it's Sam, first it's Willie, and now it's Thelma. Those guys are going to destroy you.
I told you his name wasn't Thelma Marcel. Jeez.
Hey, please, when Marcel is trying to get some commentary across, can you please quit interrupting him?
I have a hard time hearing him, Ron. I'm sorry.
Beautiful whip into the corner by Mike Shane, and he backs up for the thundering Shane train. What the hell do you call that missing? And he misses the he's missing everything.
Don't hit me, Ron. Jeez, I'm just kidding with you. There you see Mike Shane, Todd Shane, I don't know, getting arm dragged there by Agent Steel. Misses another clothesline. You'd think maybe he'd quit throwing those since he keeps missing them. But then again, nobody ever accused the people in 911 Incorporated of having the brains. Ron Niemi claims to be the brains for the whole organization. He may not say that in front of him, but that's what he's telling me all the time. Isn't that right, Marcel? Yeah, exactly.
You're full of it, Marcel. But anyway, Agent Steel comes with a huge flying forearm, Tito Tantana style, and he takes out Mike Shane, and there's the big illegal double team into the, what do you call it?
Hey, they've got 5 seconds, Ron, to get out of there. You should know that by now. You've been in the business for 15 years.
With the Mud Baby Star Stevens, it's more like 10 seconds. He's had it against 911 Incorporated, the Shane brothers, for a long time. These guys have been embroiled. A beautiful, very reckless and ugly-looking neck breaker. But the truth is, Mike don't care what it looks like. He don't care that the guy's not smart enough to spin when he's going. If you want to end up with a broken neck, Mike Shane will be happy to deliver.
All right, and I really wish you'd quit picking on Star Stevens for a slow 5 count. You know what happened with that boating accident in one of those fingers, Ron. Be a little more sensitive. All right, then. Yeah, that's right, Marcel. Tell him. All right, there you see Ethel Shane going in there for the big back suplex, holding him up a la Davey Boy Smith. Maybe even longer than Davey Boy Smith. I got to give it to you, Ron. Beautiful, beautiful maneuver there by one of the Shane brothers.
Well, if you listen to our good friend Cowhead on 1010 Sports Radio, the team, every Saturday at 11 a.m. until 12, he's a big fan of the Shane brothers. He was putting over how the Shane brothers were on the cover of the Weekly Pledge. planet and how they're all over Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And as a matter of fact, how they just signed with Jimmy Hart's new group, the XWF out of Universal Studios. They'll be working for the XWF and IPW Hardcore Wrestling, two of the best organizations in the entire world.
It's a very, very big deal, Ron. Some of the biggest stars in the business going to be involved with the XWF, and that is a big, big break for the Shane brothers, and it can only help that people from IPW are involved in that group. It can only help all the other wrestlers and everybody else associated with IPW Hardcore Wrestling.
I hate using the term developmental territory, but the truth is, this is the independent scene. We are the best on the independent scene, but
by far.
There is another level that we'd like to see these guys. Double Russian leg sweep made famous by the great Yuri Koloff and Vladimir Piet.
Vladimir Pietchov. I was thinking of him just the other day.
Why?
Because I was having a visit with one of the former Russian assassins, number 2, when he was trying to get work here in IPW.
Turned down. Turned down like the bum that he is. He wasn't even the Russian assassin number 2, because I know the Russian assassins were the Angel of Death and Jack Victory, and this guy was some big fat cripple-looking cat from Poor Richie parading around as some champion. That don't work in IPW. You gotta be the real deal. You can't come in and claim you were the spoiler, Tiger Mask, or Dos Caras from the Super Dos Carnival.
Yes, we all know Super Dos Carnival, won by Naftali. Ron, what is this maneuver?
That's a double throw him up in the air and splatter him on the mat gimmick.
God, that looks like that hurt almost as bad as when you beat the hell out of me last week, right here on Weekly Recap. And there you come in, Ron Niemi. You wait till the guy's down, get your cheap shots in, and run right back out, just like you got up and ran out of here last week after you slapped me.
That's Malenko training at its best, and I never ran out after I bitch slapped you across the face. As a matter of fact, I'm tempted to do it right now.
Hey, Marcel, thank you for getting in the middle of us like that.
Take it easy, brother. Everything's cool. We're professionals.
All right, there you see the Shane brothers working over Agent Steel in the corner. And I'm wondering, Ron Niemi, how come you haven't been in this match a little bit more by now? And there you see it again, fans. A rival promoter at ringside trying to take footage, maybe to show on his own show. I don't know, but we won't let him get away with that if that's what he's doing. Everybody wants to see what's going on with IPW.
You got Bobby Rogers from the FOW taking shots of 2 perfectly executed reverse neck breakers by Mike Shane on Agent Steel. That's the end. Like I said before, when Mass Superstar gave the reverse neck breaker to Eddie Gilbert on the floor at the tender age of 17, everyone thought his career was finished. Everybody knew better, though, because it was Eddie Gilbert. And as I'm over there checking to see how his neck is, I said, Agent Steel, is your neck okay, brother? And he says, it hurts me. It hurts real bad.
Yo, Ron, I didn't exactly hear that from Agent Steel, but you were out there and I wasn't, so I guess we'll have to take your word for it. But right now, what Agent Steel needs to do is get over to that corner and tag in his partner Yaz, because he's been taking a pounding for about the last 10 minutes here from the Shanes.
And there's Star Steven said down, brother, I used to surf all the time when I was in California, and seeing you in that surfboard, Agent Steel, it brings me back to the waves cascading across my tender brow at the young age of 23 as I was smoking. Oh, forget it. Nevertheless, take it away, Aaron.
Now, that wasn't quite as good as your other impersonations of Star Stevens, but I did hear that conversation, and believe it or not, fans, he said something very similar to that. You wonder why he's a little bit lost in the ring sometimes. Well, it's not just in the ring, it's everywhere. What's that, Marcel? No, I don't have a longer rope, and for crying out loud, get out of that box.
But he does have a point, Aaron. What's the best insurance in Tampa?
Best insurance.
That's right.
And fans, let's not forget, you can visit Extra Innings after all the IPW shows, hang out with all the stars of IPW Hardcore Wrestling. They're located at 1850 Central Avenue in St. Pete. Fans, it's a great sports bar, and it's great to come hang out with myself, Ron Niemi, and the whole IPW crew.
Sometimes when I go there, I like to eat chicken.
Ah, like hot chicken surprises?
Still John DePaul.
I'm sorry, we probably overplayed that a little bit by now.
Beautiful punch, illegal, I might add, to the faces of the Shane brothers by Agent Steel, whose collars flipped up Don Johnson style from Miami Vice in the early 80s. It's not over.
Oh.
Double clothesline takes out both men. Agent Steel says, I'm not going to sell. Oh, well, maybe I will. I'll be down here waiting for the hot tag. Start. I'm blown up, brother. Give me a couple minutes. And I'm on the outside just carrying the team saying, come on, please tag me in so I can get in and clean house. You know, Aaron, I was begging for the tag. Look at me. Look at me reaching out the hand, Robert Gibson style, to get in there and take everybody out once and for all.
You were signing?
Absolutely. That's what I'm signing right now. I'm saying, my friend, I'm going to kick you in the gullet. And right there, I'm saying, no, it's not worth it.
And here he comes, Acropolis, huge clothesline. And fans, right now, watch the beating that ensues on Ron Niemi. And now maybe you understand just a little bit of what I felt here last week when you attacked me, a la the way the Iron Sheik and J.J. Dillon attacked Killer Carl Cox so many years ago here in Florida wrestling. That was so violent they had to put the blue screen up because it was too violent for TV back in the 80s. And Gordon Soley's going, fans, we can't show this here on TV.
Settle down, Aaron, my God. I'm in there getting my clock clean, and you're talking about Carol Carl Cox and the Iron Sheik and all these other old has-beens.
Don't ever interrupt me when I'm talking about Gordon Soley.
Wait a second, I'm going into my heat right here now. Call it like you see it. This is the offense mate face. Look at me, I'm ripping at his face.
Yeah, that's just what you did to me right here last week, and I know how he feels.
I slapped you across the face one time, but you see Acropolis, this big new giant competitor, ripped from his many trips to Mexico where he picks up this sweet, sweet nectar that he loves so much. He's getting beaten to a fruit juicy pulp by the hardcore giant. And he's got those size 13 boots planted to his back.
And there on the outside, you saw one of the Shane brothers nailing one of Quickiemart. I believe that was Agent Steele with the Halliburton. Even when it's not in Ron Niemi's hands, that briefcase can't come into play. And fans, if you like this action that you're seeing here between Ron Niemi and Acropolis, you can see it again right here on November the 3rd at the Florida WrestlePlex at 8 p.m. because these two guys are going at it one more time. It's a ladder to the Halliburton match, and maybe this time Ron Niemi will get that Halliburton racked across his head.
Ron Niemi with a textbook body slam. And I go outside the ring to get a chair to finish this idiot once and for all. On November 3rd, I can't even get into the ring without tripping on my face. Oh, real hilarious. You don't see
Marcel said it.
Settle down. I can't get in the ring. I'm so beaten to death without tripping on my face. And Star Stevens doesn't lend me a hand. He leaves me there flopping around like a fish.
Well, Ron, you flop around often when you have to get involved in these matches. I remember the Southern Posse giving you a brutal beating in Crystal River not that many years ago, and this is probably the most I've seen your ass handed to you since that night, and it's by a rookie in his first IPW match. That must make you feel real proud of yourself and 911 Incorporated.
Oh, my God.
Rob Van Dam style throws the chair right into your head, and you drop the Halliburton. And fans, that rematch, November the 3rd, will be here at the Florida WrestlePlex at 8 p.m. You can call 727-526-6778 for ticket information, as well as learning where you can train, how you can come in and be a part of the best school in the Florida area, the Florida WrestlePlex. Come start your training today.
No, I guarantee you this isn't what Acropolis was trained at the WrestlePlex. Why'd he take matters into his own hands and throw a chair into my face? And now he's punching me in the head, and you see I've been busted wide open. And if you call able-bodied temporaries at 727-771-1111, you can get any type of workers that you need. I'm tempted to call her to find somebody like Nut named Star Stevens. Why is he in there? Why is he in there allowing me to be body slammed on my back onto my own Halliburton? He's being paid good money. Well, actually, he's not. But he's supposed to be being paid good money to protect the fans and to protect the wrestlers in the ring. And I'm getting beaten to death, and all he can do is, Acropolis, don't you think you're going a little far, brother?
Well, maybe, Ron, it's things like that, imitating his voice, calling him the mud baby, making fun of him in all kinds of ways, not being sensitive to his boating accident. Maybe that's why he's letting you lay there and bleed like a stuck pig, just like you did when we saw in that cage match last week. I'm not going to say that he should be biased when he's in there in the ring, but maybe, just maybe, in the back of his mind, he's letting you take some payback for all the times you made fun of him as I defended his honor here in IPW Weekly Recap.
Now, Acropolis, I hate to say it, is manhandling me. But the truth of the matter is, as you see Bobby Rogers taking more spy
This doesn't look like a good position for you to be in, Ron.
My legs
Only
are
last
very
time I
short.
saw you like that is when you were hanging out in the back with Phil and Shannon Rose.
Shut your
and I had
mouth,
to walk
Aaron.
out of there real quick because you guys started screaming.
I'm getting sick of it. You should have learned last week when I slapped you to not get mouthy anymore. But obviously when I'm in the ring getting the paste knocked out of my mouth like that, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Well, you're right, and I also didn't have Marcel here to protect me.
Hey, that's my friend. He's here protecting me from you and all your chums.
Yeah, well, he's protecting you from the lawsuit that I might bring upon you if you come and touch me ever again in that manner. We're supposed to be here to be professionals. If you have a problem with me, take it up outside the show. Don't embarrass me and the whole IPW organization by losing your cool like that, Ron Niemi.
No, you can look at this match and anybody in their right mind can see that the hardcore giant is finished. I'm done. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be some world champion wrestler. Sure, I've beaten off Tolly 3 matches.
You never beat Naftali.
Back to the match.
And there you see, oh, what did he do there?
He kicked me square in the nuts.
Kicked you right in the McGroin, as Shannon Rose likes to say.
He calls himself some type of man just because his old lady was getting fondled and manhandled and turned on by Todd Shane. He takes it into his own hands to beat the life out of me. How come he ain't in there with the Shane brothers, who are brawling out in the parking lot at this point with Quickiemart?
Well, then that's probably why, Ron. I think you answered your own question. But speaking of Todd Shane, he may have gone after the girlfriend, the wife, whatever it is, of one Acropolis. And there you see, he gets the pinfall. But we all know that Todd, Willie, and whoever Shane always ends up in the parking lot with one of the wildebeests instead of with the fine women that come to the ring with a guy like Acropolis. And here, Ron, we see just how sick and demented, we're going to see in a second, how sick and demented members of 911 Incorporated could be. Ron, the match is over. The tag team titles weren't lost. And what we're about to see here in just a minute is disgusting. And I'm not even going to add in my commentary to it while it's going on.
You see Acropolis in there with his cousin Hortense, putting him over like he's some type of great family man. He gets whoppled across the head by Todd Shane with the guitar.
Hey, maybe I should call him Honky Tonk Shane from now on.
If you go ahead and call him that.
Or the Chosen One Shane.
Good, have at it. You want to call him that, you go ahead. And you see Acropolis, his cousin, getting beaten within an inch of his life, along with Acropolis. So much for your debut. Come back here November 3rd at the Florida WrestlePlex. Call for ticket information at 726-526-6778.
Also, check out IPW-hardcore.com. Fans, we've had a great week. Here you see Quickiemart and Mark Zout making the save. Fans, we'll see you next week right here on IPW Weekly Recap.